All right, we're gonna move on to the lecture. Again, if you can print out or use a iPad device where you can write your notes on them, or you can simply type them through the computer, you may. Again, make sure that you download the files. All right, so today we're gonna be looking at, we're gonna understand the origins. Origin means like the beginnings of modern conflict in Sudan and Somalia. Why is there conflict in Sudan and Somalia, and its beginnings? Geographic divisions. So geographic means location. Okay, like think of the part of the in a location on some part of the earth. Geographic divisions in Sudan and Somalia contribute to conflict. Okay, so I have a map right here. We have Sudan right here, and we have South Sudan. So there's still conflict between the two sides where there's two big ethnic groups that have different culture traits and they have a different perceptions on how to run society that has led to this conflict. They used to be unified, but of course now there's a division. Okay, and also in Somalia. Somalia is on the eastern coast of Africa, right here by the Indian Ocean. This is one of the lowest developing countries in the world, and again, this all stemming from conflict. Civil wars involving ethnic and religious groups. So we know by religion is what religion they're practicing. So we have Islam and Christians who are having the biggest conflict between those two sides. And then by ethnic means groups of people that have different culture traits. Civil wars involving ethnic and religious groups in both Sudan and Somalia have limited progress in these countries. In Sudan, the government used troops to oppress and attack Christians. Almost 400,000 people were killed and 2.5 million became refugees. Remember, a refugee is somebody that is forced off their home due to conflict or natural disaster. All right. So in your notes, I left the question right there. Where you're gonna type your response, write it down. Okay. Which countries have experienced civil war tensions? Take about 20 seconds for this question. Press pause and then press play when you're done. All right, and those two countries are Somalia and Sudan. Okay. All right, refugees are people forced to flee their homes due to violence. Right now, there are many refugees fleeing the Middle East due to ISIS and the civil war. We talked about how Syria became a power vacuum for a lot of terrorist groups, especially ISIS. Okay, and due to this conflict, you're going to see that a lot of them are going to take advantage of Sudan as well and Somalia because of the unstable governments. And as you can see, this is a picture of all the refugees. Right. Civil war is when people within the same nation fight each other, just like each other for power, just like what happened between the North and South in the United States. You'll learn more about this in a little bit in seventh grade, but also especially in eighth grade for sure. On why, how our country entered a civil war, where literally you have the North and South fighting against each other. Okay, and we might think that's something from the past, but unfortunately, the civil wars are still a common type of war that we see today, like just like in Syria, just like in Somalia and Sudan. All right. Terrorist groups exist in Africa, just like ones you may have heard in the Middle East. They have been known to kidnap very young boys and force them to become killers in their armies. Okay, so right here, this is a little boy who was more than likely kidnapped from his family and forced to fight for a group. Somalians have never united to form a single nation because it was not their idea to become a nation. It was forced upon them by Europeans. So as you can see, this is some of the effects that we have from colonization. This slide will be very important. Okay, make sure that you read this thoroughly. This is what we talked about last week. Last week we talked about causes of European colonization, and now we're looking at the effects of European colonization. Okay, so that will take us to the last question. In your own perception, what were the long-term consequences of colonization in Africa? So now that we know from the past, remember Europe, the cause was Europe, all European countries, very powerful ones, scrambled for Africa. They divided Africa into different borders. And of course, they've been pushed off from Africa. Now, what is the effects that it had on Africa today? Okay, take about 2 to 3 minutes to answer this question. Press pause and then press play when you're done. All right, so the long-term consequences of colonization, of course, it's going to lead to ongoing conflicts between different groups, different ethnic and religious groups. So you have constant civil wars, you have massive poverty, you also have unstable governments, and you can also have in response that terrorist groups are taking advantage of those unstable governments. Okay, and any of those responses will be correct. Okay, all right, that concludes the lesson. I posted the assignment, so make sure that you complete the assignment. It's only 2 questions. That's your exit ticket. I'll be checking your responses, and that'll be very great. Okay. If you have any questions, again, contact me through Teams, and I'll get to you as soon as possible. With that said, you have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon.